from those around the world.
Let me care for those around the world.
Oh, let me talk each day a little kinder.
Let me talk each day a little kinder.
Sing with us. Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way.
Oh, let me love in a holy, holy way. Let me love
in a holy, holy way.
It's in our nature.
Yes. It's in our nature to love in a holy, holy way. Let's give them some more love. Come on. What a perfect song for today. Perfect, perfect. Today, we're wrapping up the month of August with the Seed of Awakening has been nature, and today is the Sunday you've been waiting for. Human nature. Hi. And ice cream, yeah. Thank you for reminding me. Yes. Is my voice a little loud? You guys are good? Okay, everyone's. It's coming right back at me. It's like knocking me over. Hello. So friends, when pondering human nature, I couldn't help but first to consider the things that are not in my human nature, right? It's like it's not my nature it's not in our nature as humans to climb up a tiny little ladder and then out on a platform and then step off into thin air for the flying trapeze. That's not in our nature, right? And it's not in our nature to similarly go up in a cage on a crane into I don't know how many feet high and then jump out for bungee jumping on someone's command. 1, 2, 3, bungee. Okay, yeah, it wasn't that easy, right? Not that easy. Or skydiving. You get the idea. It's not human nature to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. It's just not. What has to happen if you're someone who wants to do these adrenaline producing events, if you want to do one of these activities, you actually have to stop and breathe, and make a conscious choice to do it, to know that you are safe and loved and you are harnessed in your safety straps. Our safety straps are the beloved one, right, in this thing called life. But it was a conscious choice. There's a moment where you focus and you make the conscious choice. And so this is true for us in our lives. And so that kind of got me going. All right, so those things are not human nature. It's not in our nature to do certain things, right? Those are just 3 examples. And so then what is in our nature? And I was pondering, Timber Hawkeye was our speaker last Sunday, and he was fabulous. And he reminded us last week that it is our nature to think that our way is the way, isn't it? It's our nature to think that my way is not just a way, it is the way, and everyone else should agree and conform accordingly. Now, we know that that is not true, but that's our nature. We just sort of think that without really knowing that we're thinking that, yes? And so we learn as we awaken that that is simply not the case. Now, I learned that it is also human nature to take the path of least resistance. So what does that mean? Well, That's not a good thing or a bad thing or right or wrong. It just is. It is what it is. Now, our bodies, naturally like water, follow that path of least resistance. We find out the strength of the wind by trying to walk against it. Have you ever tried that? Right? A ship at harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. And so this is implying that we follow the path of least resistance. That's our human nature. So if we are going to do something that maybe is a little scary to us, or we're going to take a step towards something that will help us, really create the life that we love for ourselves, the life that we know is ours by our birthright, the life that we have dreamed of, there might be some steps that we need to take in order to break through that. Some conscious, focused choices. Now in CrossFit, I learned that our muscles also try to take the path of least resistance. Has anybody here ever worked out? No? Well, you walk, so whether it's yoga or walking or swimming or getting up from your couch to go to the fridge, drinking, there's some muscles that you have to use, right? But so our muscles try to take this path of least resistance, and I learned that in CrossFit because I was so amazed at these heavy weights that I could lift up, and the trainer would come around and readjust my body and have me lifting it in a way that would actually build my muscle. And it was like, ow, that hurts though. But that hurts. And so I learned, though, to try it. Then I had to go down in my weights a little bit and then go for it, right? And then that's how we build on it. We build our muscles. Now, we do this same thing in our lives, not because we are lazy, but I'm thinking, and in my research, it occurred to me that it's probably because of our early days, right? Like, we're not the first ones here, Back in the day, there was hunting and gathering, and you actually had to work hard to get your food. Really hard. And then you had to time it accordingly. You had to time it in such a way that you weren't out hunting for food when it was really hot. So you had to wait. There wasn't air conditioning back in the day. There wasn't all these comforts, right? There wasn't grocery stores or restaurants that you could just go to. So it's part of that. So that becomes our human nature. If you look and consider how it was so many years ago, there's like this memory that's in our DNA. And so it's in our human nature, right? And so we are required again to place our conscious, focused attention on something in order to do things differently. And so we strengthen our muscles by making them work against the weight of force, and that is done with conscious intention and attention. If it is our nature to take the path of least resistance, when we do something differently, it's slightly uncomfortable. We're uncertain, I don't know if this is going to work. Everybody here is so happy. I'm not sure what's going on here. What are you guys up to, I've heard that before. But the person kept coming back, and now they're happy too. Right? It's just the way it works, But the result is so rewarding. Now, the results were always rewarding whenever I did that flying trapeze experience and went against that nature, and I learned that it was a conscious choice that I had to make, and it was just a moment of choice, like a split second. And so this is true for us in our lives every day, Are we going to choose to be that instrument of peace in our lives, which means in our own bodies, in our own consciousness? Are we going to choose to be that instrument of love and care and compassion and kindness in our own lives, in our own consciousness? Because we got to get right in ourselves, and then everyone around us transforms because that's how it works. And so that's what we are called to do, moment to moment. So it's not like, oh, I know this stuff, and then you go out and you're yelling at somebody or getting mad because somebody's in the 12-item or less line with 15 items or whatever it is, you know. It's in those moments that we are called to use these two. We are called to use this tool, the tools that we're learning here, every day in every way. With our partners, at the grocery store, on the freeway, with our children. I know that can be a big challenge, right? Boy, you parents have, wow, that's a serious spiritual practice right there. Bless you, I honor you. That is a yes. And so each time that we choose the positive, impactful choice for our thinking, our faith is strengthened, right? Just like each time we lift those weights or we walk to the fridge, we build a little bit of strength, you know? And we learn and remember that, wow, that was a pretty cool result that I had from that. And so we are empowered by that, by strengthening within ourselves. Now, Robert Fritz observed, if you limit your choice only to what seems possible or reasonable, you disconnect yourself from what you truly want, and all that is left is a compromise. Wow. That is so powerful. I'm going to read that again. If you limit your choice only to what seems possible or reasonable, you disconnect yourself from what you truly want, and all that is left is a compromise. Our days of compromise are over. If we want to experience something in our lives, we're going to name it and claim it and not doubt it, and that is a practice too. This could take you a while, or it could be instant. Whatever is true for you is totally fine, right? But it could take a while because you might be doubting it as soon as you say it and affirm it. So I've noticed, especially in, foundations class, people are often afraid to speak of their magnificent abundance. And I go in and I'm like, I'm a mighty money magnet. And everybody gets excited. There's some energy in that. You remember that. I'm a mighty money magnet. Then everybody's standing up. I'm a mighty money magnet. It feels good. And everyone is aware that just seems a little funny. But wow, what if that's true? I'm a mighty money magnet. Money is coming to me from all sorts of places. I'm getting checks in the mail. People are depositing money. People are sending money over PayPal to me, whatever it is, Recognizing that spirit is the source of our supply and not a job, not the EDD, not the government, not the Social Security Department. Yes, the checks come through there, but our source is the divine, ultimately. I'm a mighty money magnet. Why? Because I am the divine. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place. So I love that quote because it also reminds me it doesn't serve us to play small. It does not serve us to play small. Whatever those things are that you really want to experience for yourself in your life that seem unattainable, those are the things that you ought to be naming and claiming, and then you will see them in your life because that's the way that this stuff works, and this stuff really works. So there's a new study that found that the amount of effort required to do something influences what we think we see, suggesting that we're biased toward perceiving anything challenging to be less appealing. Interesting, right? So we can do the opposite of that. So doing the opposite of that is about participating in events and experiences and opportunities that could potentially put you in a better situation. But people don't always do that. It's not in our nature. It's not in our human nature to do that because there is fear of the unknown. We are in what we know, so we may not want to take that step out, right? But in the alchemy of esoteric practices, the path of least resistance becomes one's primary focus of spiritual awareness, because this is the path that the shadow or human aspect of ourselves would prefer to naturally follow. So we tend to follow the path of least resistance. The ego tends to follow the path of least resistance. Excuse me. The ego tends to follow that path of least resistance. It doesn't want to change, and the shadow aspect of ourselves keeps us locked into these places where we think we're not good enough, or, as a minister, you guys, as a spiritual leader, there's a lot of people that I deal with. And some people don't like me. Right? Boo! Thank you. But I have to be okay with that because it's not about me. So, but there's the shadow part of me that goes, why doesn't everybody love me? I'm so lovable. I'm just so cute. I'm so spiritual. I'm so awesome. But I observe that part of me, and I'm just like, what is happening here? Like the person has hooked me. This person has hooked an old behavior, which is the alcoholic behavior, the one that says, nobody likes me anyway. The whole shadow thing, right? And so that's the part that would keep us small. That is, that's mortal stuff, It's like, in order to be who we came here to be, in order to be more of who we came here to be every day, to be better every day in every way, we've got to let go of that stuff. It doesn't serve us. It may have brought us to where we are now, but it doesn't serve us, and it's not going to bring us to where we're going. Because where each of us are destined, what each of us are destined for from right now going forward is living a life that we love. Amen. And living a life we love includes loving ourselves exactly as we are and exactly as we are not. That's why we have that affirmation at the end of every service. Something wonderful is happening as me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in my relationships. I believe it. I express it. I accept it just the way that it is and just the way that it is not. Yeah. It's like, okay, that's easy. But do you see how that part, that shadow part, wants to pull me back? And your experience may be something else, but it's very similar. There's that shadow aspect that wants to pull you back and keep you in a place of being small. But that does not serve any of us. So sometimes also we can get in a place of thinking, okay, I'm in this path of least resistance and something comes up that challenges us, and then we're like, well, that's it. That doesn't make me feel good. Now, not that, you're supposed to feel good, yes, boundaries are good and all of that. However, if there is something challenging, it's a call for us to look at that challenge and find within us, oh, is this a place for me to actually grow and learn more about myself? Or, what am I up to on this path? Because enlightenment is not always about feeling good. it's mostly not about feeling good. It's really like a complete undoing of everything that we thought was true. It's an unraveling, like a loose string on a shirt, and you pull the string and then the whole hem comes out. The ego prefers to stay in the comfort zone with the shadow. It is the shadow. It's comfortable. It doesn't want to unravel. What kind of shirt will I have after that? Who will I become? Who will I be without this negative thought pattern? And so that's why we're all here, to learn and find ways for us to name and claim what it is we truly would love to experience in our lives. Now, most of us, before we got to a community like this, weren't saying things like, I am peace, I am bliss, I am whole, I am perfect, I am complete, I'm a mighty money magnet, God is love and I am love, right? All of that. Keep using those words in your life: bliss, prosperity, wholeness, perfection. I am one with everything. Like the hot dog vendor and the Buddhist. So when we can't wrap our minds around something, we might think it's too hard because it is unknown. But the good news is that once the unknown becomes known, we realize that there really is no hard or easy, but our thinking has made it so, and it is our thinking that has stopped us from becoming all that we came here to be. It is also our nature to judge just a little bit. Hot, cold, good, bad, hard, easy. The easy route, though, is not always the best route to go. This is when people stay in relationships for too long. People stay at jobs that they don't love too long. People keep doing behaviors that they know do not serve them for too long. Overeating, eating unhealthy food, not exercising, gambling, drinking, using drugs, etc., shopping, spending, whatever it is. There's so much, right? It could be cookies or Doritos or whatever the little thing is for you. Oh, you're busted. What? Ice cream, yes. Oh, man. Because it is in our nature to stay comfortable, right? As a species, we're hardwired for survival. And so we don't want to take that extra step sometimes. But what happens is we, the people, are constantly creating suffering for ourselves with our thoughts, our words, our actions, and our behaviors up until now. Or up until that moment of awakening, when it occurs to us that we have had enough and we can't take it anymore. And then I heard, that's all I can stands, I can't stands it no more. Remember Popeye? When we have reached that point and we say, enough is enough, and it is in those moments that we consciously choose to go against our nature of comfort, to go against our nature of the path of least resistance, embrace the unknown, as challenging as it may be, and take that step, knowing how loved we are. It's also human nature to put off doing things we don't like to do, to only do what we will get away with. Right? To believe that every thought we think is true. Remember that? You may be in that space now, or you're past it, or whatever, but even if you've learned this, sometimes the thoughts that come up or pass through are so compelling and so believable, they seem so real, don't they? But they're not. We don't have to believe every thought we think. There's so much freedom in that. So friends, our calling is to understand our own character and become better people so we can be loving, compassionate, kind, and creative beings of light and love. That is who we came here to be. Who's with me? Yeah. Woo! All right. So, as a spiritual being having a human experience, we are called to be okay with our human nature, but know that if we seek different results, we'll need focus, intention, and attention in order to make a conscious choice, sometimes repeatedly, on a moment-to-moment basis. It's a practice. So it used to be my nature to drink a lot. I don't know if you guys know that about me. My motto was more is better. Yeah. I was at a Gourmets for God event last night. Thank you, Gina and BJ, for hosting that. So great. And they had wine, and someone was pouring wine, and they asked me if I wanted some. I said, oh no, you don't want me to drink. I'm the one that would be up on the tables, hollering. Like, is that our minister? No, not good. But friends, it took a large group of people to help me understand this part of myself and to transform it one day at a time. It took a large group of people, they call them the rooms of the 12-step programs, right? Where there's people, like as many people as this in a room that are all experiencing having stopped because they didn't want that to rule their lives anymore. It was a conscious choice daily. Yeah? That's how we change our thinking to change our life. It's a conscious choice every day, sometimes every moment. So our call to action this week is to choose one negative thought, word, or phrase that we can stop using today and start claiming and using the opposite. So you're going to choose just one, right? For example, if you always say, I'm anxious, I have anxiety, start saying these words instead. I'm peaceful. I feel so much peace. I used to have anxiety, but now it's just peace. Like, let your story be about peace. Talk about peace. Think about peace. Describe what peace feels like. Is there a color associated with it? Is there a picture that you imagine when you think of things that are peaceful? Focus on that. Focus on that some more, and that becomes your reality. Why? Because all of our self-talk is hypnosis. All of our self-talk is hypnosis. So we are introducing our own thoughts rather than succumbing to the negativity that we have learned or carried with us for decades, because that is just what we were taught, right? So feeling anxiety because that's what we were taught, or maybe we were in a home that had a lot going on and it created a lot of anxiety in our creative medium, in our subconscious, and now we're uprooting that, and we uproot it by speaking the opposite of it and start talking about that until that becomes a part of our subconscious, right? So we speak consciously until our subconscious has it, and then that is what's produced in form. Try it. I mean, what do you have to lose? Right? Yeah. Yes. Because what you speak about, you bring about. So let's bring about peace. Let's bring about love. Let's bring about prosperity and community and a thriving place to gather together, right? Let's speak about all the good that we know we deserve to experience in our lives, because we do deserve it. It is our birthright. It is your birthright. So where your path of least resistance was formerly to feel anxiety, you have now chosen the path of peace instead. And then you can ask, well, what else is possible? If you experience a moment of peace from that transformation, ask, what else is possible in my experience of peace? Because the universe responds by showing you how to generate peace for yourself and your life. It also responds to you by giving you opportunities to be peaceful. So you're going to be practicing. You can do it, though. I know you can. I know it. So I want to talk a little bit about affirmations before I wrap it up here today. We also talk about affirmations in Foundations class. And there's always someone who brings up the personal dilemma of, I can't affirm it if I don't already have it. That would be lying. Nothing could be further from the truth. I see you. Thank you for validating what I just said. We are talking and teaching about creating a life for yourself that you love, a life of peace, joy, prosperity, and goodness. So good you didn't even know it was possible. So I always guide individuals and students to page 575 in the Science of Mind textbook, which is the glossary. And at the bottom of page 575, we have Ernest Holmes' definition of affirmation. And he says, to affirm anything is to state that it is so, and to maintain this as being true in the face of all evidence to the contrary. Human thought can only affirm, for even at the moment of denial, it is affirming the presence of that which it denies. That means our stories are going to have to change. The stuff that we talk about to our friends are going to have to change, because as we speak about it, we are recreating it. He says repeating an affirmation is leading the mind to that state of consciousness where it accepts that which it wishes to believe. All of our self-talk is hypnosis. Affirmations work. It works. It totally works. So I'm going to invite the musicians to come up and prepare for our closing song. As I wrap it up, so changing your thinking to change your life is not in our nature. It actually requires us to focus and make a conscious choice constantly. And we are given opportunities to make a choice like 1 billion times a day, right? Something happens, in that moment you have a choice. But we've got to presence ourselves to have a little space, in between external stimuli and our reaction, right? And so we create that spaciousness in our meditation, in our prayer, because as we meditate, we notice things happening, but we're not reacting. And so we bring that meditation out into our lives in the same way, into our minds in the same way. We experience a thought, and we know we don't have to get in that taxi cab and be taken for a ride. I'm going to choose the path of peace. I am an instrument of peace. I am an instrument of love. I am all that I am. So affirmations are powerful. The invitation is to think of something that you'd love to manifest in your life this week, whatever it is, a new job, a new home, a healthy body, a loving relationship, a peaceful mind, a poised presence, a calm demeanor, a closer relationship with God, whatever it is, you guys. It's like you've got the Sears catalog. Flip through it and make your choice and name it and claim it for yourself and your life. How does that sound? Well, you'll then write down 3 to 5 affirmations as if you are already having the experience. I am peaceful, poised, and calm. I am courting the divine. I know who I am. My relationship with God is deeper than ever before. I speak words that make me and others glad and happy. I am joy. I am joyful. I am loved, loving, and lovable. If you need help with your affirmation, you can contact one of our licensed practitioners or myself or one of the ministers who are here. We're so happy to help because sometimes we're so in that negative aspect that we don't we can't see the opposite of it. We're so in it, it's hooked us, But we're here to help with that. Now you're called to have your affirmations handy so you can start your day with them, read them throughout the day, and make your declaration at the end of the day before you go to bed. Notice what happens in your experience after even a day of doing this, a few days, a week. Just see what happens. And ask yourself, what is one negative thought, word, or phrase I can stop using today and start claiming and using the opposite instead? So I want to share a few things. I have one of those journals that is a 5-year journal, and there's 1 year times 5 on each page. And so, like, today's date has 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. Was that 4? 2023 is the last one, right? And so it's really fun because at the end of the day, my husband and I take the time to write down, it's 5 lines, so you got to really condense it. And we write down what was notable or awesome for us that day, right? And a couple days ago, I saw what was happening last year, and it was around this time that I was beginning to make my way here as your spiritual leader. So this is the last Sunday in July, or August, as you know, and that's a year. I've been here a year. Yeah. And I know that I personally have transformed tremendously. And this community has undergone so much transformation. And I'm just grateful for each one of you for continuing to come back in the midst of so much change and staying strong and being a member of this community with so much love, because you guys make Awakening Ways. Right? We are Awakening Ways. We are AW. And so, what? We are, We are, I love it. Thank you. And so, as part of my contract here, we agreed that I would have some sabbatical time after my first year, and boy, I did not wait to jump on that. So I am going to Maui, I'm going to Maui, and thank you. I'm very, very much looking forward to it. Much needed rest and respite to recharge. So September 4th, at this time, I will be on a plane headed to Maui. So send me some love from wherever you are. And maybe you can sing me a song. That would be neat. And then Reverend Diane is going to be our guest speaker. So thank you. That'd be great. It's her first time speaking here. And she's wonderful. You don't want to miss her speaking. And then September 11th, the following Sunday, we have Delon, who has spoken before, so yeah. And then on the 18th, we have a gentleman named Kevin Hobart. Now, I think he's spoken here before, yeah? I heard some woos over there. Yay. All right, so friends, the call is, keep coming back while I'm not here. Come back and support all of these beautiful souls, and I'll be gone for 3 Sundays. That seems like a long time, but I will take you all with me. Yeah. In my heart. In my heart. Wherever I find myself, especially on Sundays, I'll be thinking of you guys and sending love and speaking prayer for you and knowing the truth. So also in my absence, I have asked Susan. Susan, will you stand up for a second? Everyone knows Susan, but if you don't know it. Susan is officially holding down the fort in my absence. So she will be the hostess on the Sundays that I am not here. And she's amazing, as you all know. And then if something comes up, if there's some emergency or anything, please contact Susan. She can be reached at the office. And then if she needs to reach me, she knows how to reach me. And she will contact me if need be. Otherwise, I'm going off the grid. A little bit, right? You know, I'll probably still post here and there, but mostly. So, thank you. Aloha. Let's take a deep breath together. And join me in turning your attention inward. In this moment, we return to this beautiful, expansive space within, which is the space where I know and remember with every fiber of my being that spirit is all that there is. It is all that there ever was, and it is all that there ever will be. And it's always been here. It's always been here expressing itself through me and as me. And it can never go away. We might think ourselves away from it, but it's always here. And so I know for each one of us that as we go forward from here into the month of September, into the rest of this week and through the next several weeks in September, we experience ourselves as pure love. We experience ourselves as the divine. And we know that as we move through the world with our sparkling eyes, as if we have a secret. Only it's something that we get to share with the world, and it is a deep love. We remember that, yes, I am an instrument of peace. Yes, I am an instrument of love. And I am willing to make, I'm willing to make that conscious, focused choice to do that thing that I previously thought was scary. Because I know that I am loved. I know that I am whole. I know that I am perfect. I know that I am complete. And that I have spirit within me. And with a love like that, we can move mountains. And so I'm grateful for the experience of joy and all that each individual wishes to experience in their lives. I know that it is so, and we are so blessed. God is so good in each one of our lives. We are the ones we've been waiting for. So let's do this. Aloha, and so it is. Amen.